Let's talk to Georgina Wright, who's the Brexit expert for the Institute for Government. Georgina, nice to talk to you again. So we've taken one step today. Just talk us through Saturday. What could happen?
So obviously, Katie and Sebastian are probably going to walk you through the details of that. But just to come back really to how you pass a deal, the first step was for UK and EU negotiators to agree a legal text, and they have done that. The next step will be for EU leaders and the UK government to endorse that deal at the EU Council, and we suspect that this will happen today. The third step is for the UK Parliament to pass that deal. So they need to pass it in a meaningful vote on Saturday. But they will also need to pass the withdrawal agreement bill at some point, which is the domestic legislation that is required to adopt that deal that was reached in Brussels. And then you'll also, the fourth step, need the consent of the European Parliament. So we are edging closer, but we're not quite there yet. And
amendments, what happens with them? Could they be brought in?
So this, again, everything remains to be seen on Saturday and what happens there. Certainly what we're hearing is that not everyone is happy with the deal that was reached in Brussels. So whether or not the meaningful vote happens and whether or not it's successful remains to be seen. And then we could certainly see some amendments being tabled to the withdrawal agreement bill, but I think it's too early to say at this point.
Oh, amongst those amendments could be the prospect of a vote on the basis that there's also goes back to the public, another referendum. That could be tagged on, could it?
Possibly. I mean, from the EU's perspective, they're going to be looking at very closely what happens in the House of Commons on Saturday, because absolutely the Prime Minister was clear to them that he was pretty certain that he could get that deal through. Now, if he fails to get that deal through, we are then venturing into the territory of, do we have a further delay? Now, I suspect that the EU leaders will remain silent on a further extension because they have reached this deal now. But if a delay looks likely, then it's possible that government and EU leaders will reconvene next week, or at least before the 31st of October, to really hash out the terms and conditions of that extension.
Georgina, thank you very much. Good to see you again.